welcome again to the Supercharge Your Church Marketing class hosted by PosterMyWall. You guys are going to get 8 creative ways to take your church marketing and branding to the next level by using graphics. So if that's what you've signed on for, you are in the right place. If it isn't what you signed on for, stay, because you're going to learn something anyway, right? All right, so let's get started with an introduction. Of course, my name is Camille Jamerson, and I am a branding, marketing, and communications consultant, CEO of CDJ Associates. And on the screen, you see my website and email address. Please feel free to screenshot it if you want to get in touch with me afterwards, or inbox me, DM me, or what have you. That's my contact information. I'll be more than happy to share whatever I can with you. This is my second collaboration with PosterMyWall, and I just want to take a second to thank them so much for entrusting me to do this class with you and to allow me to share my passion for graphics, and specifically when it comes to church marketing and ministry. So let's go. Oh, before we jump in, make sure you stay until the end, because they have an amazing offer that PosterMyWall is going to share with you. So you don't want to miss that. Stay to the end. If you are watching the replay, stay to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, stay until the end, because you definitely want to take advantage of the offer that they're going to share with you. And I know what it is, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. Okay? Now let's go. All right, supercharging your church marketing. So first of all, why is this even important, right? Why such a specific thing? Why church marketing? Why is it important? You see the reasons that I have here right on the screen. It's to inform, educate, and engage your congregation in creative ways. It's, of course, to inspire new seekers to consider your church ministry as their new church home. And also important, sometimes that we don't take into consideration, is that you want to display a measure of kingdom excellence that reflects who and what you believe. If you understand what I'm saying, can you put an amen in the chat? Right? So you want to display a measure of kingdom excellence, because we've got the best product on the market. Am I right about it? But how we display that product and how we navigate and market what it is that we as ministries have to offer is so critical in reaching those who are lost, right? So the goal is to win the lost at all costs. And if it is a graphic that we can use as a draw, then we owe it to our ministries to help by doing our part, right? So let's jump in. Number 1, we're going to talk about 8 creative ways to kind of upgrade and supercharge your marketing by using graphics. Okay, so here's number 1, informational graphics. Now, these are graphics that detail information, or they bring special attention to things that are repetitive. And this is, I brought this one out first, is because you guys are probably already doing this, right? You're probably already using graphics for information. But what I want to show you is how you can use those graphics in more than one place. You can use them during your worship experience. You can use them in your social media. You can use them to print and use as postcards, which we'll talk about more later. You can multi-purpose these graphics to enhance your worship experience. For example, this particular church that I do graphics for, their pastor, because they're online now, their pastor spent a lot of time talking about the different ways that people could give, right? So they had mail-in, or as you see on the screen, mail your tithes and offerings to. They had a slot where you could drop your tithes and offerings in the back of the church. And then they had all of these different ways that you could give electronically. And the pastor actually was going through and reading each of these during morning worship, because he wanted the congregation to know that no matter which one they had or which way they chose to give, the information that they needed to do that. And it was taking up a lot of time. So what we did was we created slides that could show during the worship of giving. So he could still do his exhortation. The choir sometimes, you know, depending on your ministry, may have a choir sing during offering time, or may, in this case, have a soloist. We're not really doing choirs right now, but have a soloist sing or play a tape or whatever. And then we could show these particular slides so that people could get the information that they need, and it didn't take up a lot of the pastor's time. So this was the one we used for traditional giving. I did all of this on PosterMyWall. And this is the one which I really like, that we did for electronic giving. As you see, they have, so with the 2 before and these 4, they had 6 different ways that you could give to the ministry. So you could see how that would take up a lot of time. So by using these graphics made on PosterMyWall, you could help the pastor by simplifying what he would have to say or do. He could just say, as you see on the big screens, if you're using big screens in your church ministry. If you're not, you can always post these on Facebook. You can post them on your church website. You can post them on your Instagram, your Twitter, what have you. You can multi-purpose them, but it helps to contain information and to inform. So those are informational graphics. Informational social posts. Okay, these are things that you guys are probably already doing. For example, the one that I'm showing you is when they wanted to have a social post about All Saints Day. Why? Because it isn't one that's very popular. And so they wanted to draw special attention to it. So I created this and PosterMyWall. Probably took me like 10 minutes because this template was already there. So all I did was switch out the colors and add the information that you see at the bottom of the All Saints poster, which is, you know, their contact information, their social media information. That picture, I think, was already there as well. And then on the other side of the screen, you see the First Wednesday prayer service graphic. And if you have a prayer service or an event that's recurring, I would recommend doing a graphic like this because it includes all of the contact information. And if all of that stays the same, all you have to do each time is switch out the date. Or if you don't put a date, you can just use it repetitively. So informational social posts like these are great to have and to create, and they can be used over and over again, whether you use this template to switch it out to something else, or whether it's a constant event that happens every month or every week, etc. You can also do informational special occasions to draw, bring recognition or draw awareness to things that are outside of the norm of your church experience. And for example, these are 2 that were very, very important to the pastor, and he wanted to, and they were back-to-back Sundays, mind you, but he wanted to take special time and attention to address both of these issues, cancer awareness, because it's an African-American church. And as you see in the quote there, they have the highest death rate and the shortest survival of any racial or ethnic group when it comes to cancers. So he wanted to take time out to acknowledge that. And what better way than to get a graphic out there that has the quote. And then on the bottom, we used it to still kind of invite people to join the ministry online. So this was something that they had in their social media that week. And the same kind of system we used that following week with Domestic Violence and Survivor Sunday. Both of these were made in PosterMyWall. You could probably see the templates that I use when you go in there, because I didn't really change much because I didn't have to. But I keep it simple when I can. So number 2, we're going to talk about thumbnail graphics. If you know what thumbnails are, those are the, what's a good word? Cover photo, right? Cover photos for your replays when you upload your videos to YouTube, Vimeo, etc. Okay, so thumbnail graphics are like my faves. And this is one of the best ones I did. I really like this one. This is a thumbnail that I did for this particular sermon series. And if you notice, what I did was, of course, the cool pics that I did of the pastor, layer those. But I also used kind of a very familiar, using The Last Dance, as some of you may know, it was a documentary about Michael Jordan. So I used kind of culture and basketball and merge that together to use that as a draw to draw people to that particular sermon. So this was the cover for that particular sermon series. And if your pastor is one that used to do illustrated sermons and perhaps can't do that as much anymore, this is a good way to still kind of integrate culture by using your graphics. And this I built this one from scratch, just FYI, this is not a template. I built this one from scratch in PosterMyWall. Now, the other cool thing that you can do with thumbnails, and I built these from scratch too, but now I can just use them over and over again, is that if your pastor does sermon series, as you see here on the left side of the screen, the Airborne series, part 1 and part 2, it helps congregants and seekers to be able to find the next one relatively quickly. So if they were watching part 1, they see the graphic for part 2, and they know that they're kind of related. So that's the way to kind of supercharge your brand on YouTube and on Facebook by kind of just putting cover photos there to give people a sneak peek as to what that particular video is. Same thing you could do with Bible study, as you see there on the right-hand side. All of their Bible study cover photos look like that. The only thing I may do is swap out the colors with the other colors they have in their brand palette, or move the Bible study over to one side, put the pastor's picture on the opposite side, move the date over, whatever, but it still looks primarily like this. And they all look the same to make all of their Bible studies easy to find. And then for special events, you can make a special thumbnail and it will stand out against all of the rest of them. Why? Because this one doesn't look like their typical sermon and Bible study graphics. The colors are different. The fonts are a little different. And so I made this particular thumbnail identical to the graphic that we made to push this event. So people kind of had an idea of what it looked like. So when they went to YouTube to find it again, it was easy to spot because that's what it looked like on Facebook. So this is what it looks like on your thumbnails on YouTube and Facebook. So if you see down there on the left-hand side, that's what it looks like on a computer screen. And you guys have seen it, right? When you go to YouTube, it's those cover pictures that really draw you in to taking a peek at that video. So if, as you see down here on the bottom, those are the different thumbnails that I've done to put as covers for those particular sermons or Bible studies, events, etc. And it makes people, it helps people to easily find what they're looking for. What you see on the right is what it looks like on your phone. And you can see that MLK music video, it stands out because it's a little bit different up above that a little bit. You see the Bible study video, a little different from the one we showed before because that's from a previous week, etc. So use thumbnails to your advantage. You can help brand your church ministry, organize the videos that you're now putting on YouTube and saving on Facebook, and you can help your congregants and seekers find what they need a lot faster, right? Number three, okay, mailer or postcard graphics. Yes, people do still like to get mail, everybody. How many of you still like to get mail, get postcard, especially right now? You never know how many people that would touch right about now. There's a lot of people that are by themselves and have been quarantining by themselves. So this little act of kindness can go a long way. And it's a great way to supercharge your marketing for your church. And here are some examples. I use the same template that I use for thumbnails, actually, for this postcard, because they wanted a longer postcard. So for example, this is one side of one and the back side of the other. But just to give you an example, we sent out holiday postcards, right? But you can do this for birthdays, church, the anniversaries. You can do this for, hey, how you doing? What do you need? Kind of postcards, whatever. But make certain that you work with your printer, as you'll see on the right, that you have to leave room for your address, and you have to leave room at the bottom of the postcard for that postal stamping kind of thing. So if not, a lot of your information on the bottom can be covered. So that's the only thing that I couldn't kind of wing. I had to work with the printer just to get their dimensions as to what they needed for that. But once you get it once, save it. And that's the cool thing about PosterMyWall. You can just use it over and over again, okay? Email graphics. Some of you out there have amazing email lists, and for whatever reason, you may not use them, or you just use it to send out a quick email, and you don't necessarily take advantage of how you could supercharge your email. And it could be something very, very simple. When on PosterMyWall, create a header, add that to your email, put your email text, and then underneath it, you can add an action button, and boom, email 10 times better than what you've done before. Here's an example. Did this under the, I think it's called the header section under PosterMyWall, but you can resize it once you put it in the email. But this is what I created from the pastor's desk. It could be newsletter title, the choir's newsletter, usher board's newsletter. It could be the church's newsletter. It could be from the pastor, whatever. Create a little email graphic. This took literally 5 minutes, guys, in PosterMyWall. I already had the picture, looked up church because they have free photos that you can use in PosterMyWall. Looked up church, dropped the church back there, added the text, boom. And this is what it looks like in email. Okay, so when it comes to a person's email address, you see how the header looks. And like I was saying, I don't even know what this says, so don't even read that. I think it was a piece of somebody's devotional. But you see the little button I put there called Give Online. That can say anything. I just found it in Google Pictures. But you drop a button there, RSVP, you can hyperlink it to Eventbrite. You can put Give Online like I did there and hyperlink it to one of your giving options. You can put download, a button that says download, and hyperlink it to a Google Doc for a PDF. There are tons of ways that you can really use email and graphics within your email to supercharge what you're already doing there, okay? So take advantage of using email if you haven't. And the cool thing about email, putting on my marketing hat, is that people can easily forward it and send it to other people in their circle, which extends your reach, right? So you might be only sending it to 500 people, but if those 500 people are sending it to 500 more people, then you have doubled your reach. And that's only if they send it to one person a piece. But if they send it to a circle of folks, then you've extended your reach by that much more. So if you haven't been taking advantage of email, people still do read email. You might want to take advantage of that and then supercharge it with a graphic. Next, podcast cover graphics. If your pastor or your ministry isn't doing podcasts right now, do not tune me out, because I'm going to show you how you can multi-purpose the graphics that are in PosterMyWall for other things. But if you are doing podcasts or you're uploading your pastor's sermons onto a podcast program, then this can help organize. It's almost like thumbnails for podcasts, and PosterMyWall has graphics and templates in there that you can use for that. And what I have here on the left is exactly how you will find it in PosterMyWall. And I left it that way. Initially, it wasn't intentionally. I was like, oh, I got to go back and do that. But then when I thought about it, I said, no, I want to leave it like this because I want to show you exactly how you'll see it in PosterMyWall. And if you see here on the left, it says podcast channel at the top. You'll just switch that to what yours is. Episode topic, you just put the sermon title there. Listen now or whatever, you put whatever logos for the different podcasts platforms that you're using for your particular ministry. And it's just that easy. You put in your social media header, your website on the bottom, done, right? And the cool thing about that is all you have to do every week is change the sermon topic, right? And you have it done once, it's done until you decide to rebrand or do something different. On the right is one I made up. And I don't know who this guy is. I just found his picture, thought he looked pastorish. But anyway, dropped his picture in, and it's the same thing here. It literally took me 5 minutes to do. Just change the social media stuff. You can change out the sermon, etc. Use it as kind of a cover photo on uploading it to your podcast platforms. Now, the cool thing is that because of the size of these, you can also use these for social media. They show up really well on Instagram. They show up really well on Twitter. They show up really well on Facebook. You probably need to resize if you're going to use it in Instagram stories or in Facebook stories, but in the regular platform, they show up perfectly. They look like a really solid social media post. So you can use this as an upload to podcasting, and you can use it to promote the pastor's sermons in your regular social media. You can also drop this in an email, insert it as a picture in an email. So that's a way to use this several different ways and get more bang for your buck, so to speak. Ooh, we're on number 6. Number 6, holiday graphics. You are probably already creating holiday graphics. Most ministries will create something that says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year or Happy Easter, bare minimum. And that's great. But the thing that I want to share with you is that I tell this to my clients all the time, never let a good holiday go to waste. I don't care what the holiday is. If it's Valentine's Day, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Juneteenth, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, whatever it is, never let a good holiday go to waste. Always use those holidays to draw attention to your ministry. You're like, well, Valentine's Day doesn't have anything to do with our, yes, it does. Grab you a graphic, put on there a scripture, greater love has no man than this, than he that will lay down his life for a friend, or use John 3:16, tell the congregation you love them from the pastor, boom, graphic. Never let a good holiday go to waste. Use them for your advantage to bring attention to your ministry. And if you happen to be doing something special on that particular holiday, for example, like Mother's Day or Father's Day, or if the pastor's doing a special sermon, you can always highlight that. But never, ever, ever let a good holiday go to waste. Always use it to your advantage. For Memorial Day, create a graphic that you can use on your social media channels and ask people to post loved ones who served in the military so that they can be remembered in a special way. Do the same thing for Veterans Day. Create a graphic and ask them for people in their immediate family or themselves, if they've served in ministry, to list their names so people have an opportunity to thank them for their service. All those types of things keep people engaged and they draw people to your ministry. So just the 2 that I grabbed here were ones that, like I said, everybody does it Christmas and New Year's. So for Christmas, for this particular ministry, we did a postcard, and we did this for their social media. And in the little balls there, it has just, kind of where to find them online. In the big ornament, it has join us virtually for Christmas morning service. And then we added their theme scripture for Christmas, etc. This is kind of what we did for New Year's Eve service. I did fix that to say 2020. Before I gave it to them, I was already a year ahead trying to get out of 2020. But this is what we did for their New Year's Eve service. And not only did we use that, we used this as a postcard. The other side of it had kind of all of their end of the year services listed, kind of a collage of what they had done all year. And then we mailed that as, the other side, of course, was for the poster side. And then this is what the front of it looked like. And we also used this very same graphic as the thumbnail. So again, repurposing and using things more than once is a great way to supercharge. Number 7, conference graphics. And I don't care what you say, conferences are not over, right? They're not over. Somebody say amen, conferences are coming back. And a lot of them right now have gone online, right? So conferences just may have a little different feel for a while. But one thing that ministries thrive on is an opportunity to have a conference and to gather several ministries together, or several denominations together, or what have you, to really take an opportunity to learn or to celebrate, or whatever the gist of the conference is about. So we miss that. But right now, a lot of conferences have gone online, and that's great. They still need to be marketed. right? They still need to be marketed, and probably even more so now than before. And when conferences start back up again, when outside opens back up again, you still need to have those tools available, because everybody's going to be ready to hit the ground running. And you want to have tools available to be able to help market those conferences quickly and effectively, right? And that's why I brought this one up. And you're like, okay, Camille, those look almost exactly like. You're doggone right. Here's why. The one on the left is exactly what you will find on PosterMyWall. It's already set up exactly like that, right? And the reason that I put these two side by side, because I wanted to show you how little I had to do to make it what I needed it to be, as an example. All I did was, at the top, change the church name. Change the name where it says church on the left, I changed it to excellence on the right. Conference, I left it exactly the same font, everything. All I did was change the color. You may not even have to do that. Okay, I just changed the color for emphasis just so I could show you how quickly that was. I even left what they put as the purpose of the conference. Yeah, I left that exactly the same. I changed the date. I changed that 0 to a 1 on the right-hand side. I left the times the same. I changed the topics just to show you how quickly and easily you could do that. Put the fake church website down there on the bottom. Added my favorite little pastor's picture on the other side. Changed their names. Boom. I promise you, this took me less than 10, 15 minutes to do. Mind you, I already had their picture ready, but it literally took me 15 minutes to do. And the reason that I wanted to show you this is because one of the ways to really supercharge your church marketing is to use the tools that are already there to help you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? You don't have to recreate something that's already there for you. All you had to do here is change this to your brand colors, swap your pictures, change the name, and you're off and running. So, make certain that you're making the best use of your time by doing what's there, making your swaps, making your switches, and moving on to the next thing. Literally 15 minutes. Last one. We're almost there, guys. Video graphics, and this is so cool. So I'm so glad that you're here. And we're only going to be a few more minutes, so don't leave. PosterMyWall has a really cool offer. You don't want to miss that. So let's do this one really quickly. Video graphics. This is something that's in PosterMyWall that really supercharges kind of your message. It just catapults whatever it is that you're trying to explain. The two ways that I would use video graphics is, one, if you're doing something new that really needs attention, or two, if you're doing something mundane or regular that you don't want to fall through the cracks. I'll show you what I mean. This is a video graphic example, and I left it on here so you could see that this was created right in PosterMyWall. If you go to PosterMyWall, this is exactly what it would look like. The only change that I made was I made this little part back here a little bit lighter so you could see. And this is how it shows up as a video. Just that little bit in the background, little movement in the background brings emphasis to what you're trying to show, which is praise on the parking lot. We've been doing a lot of that lately. So in order to draw attention to that, you can use a video graphic to draw people into what your message is. And I just think it's really cool. It's nothing but cars moving in the background, as you see here, and it would be, of course, repetitive in the loop in your particular email examples, whether you're using an email or social media, etc. But it's really cool, and it draws attention to your message without taking away from your message. Does that make sense? Somebody say amen in the chat. So let's go to the next one that I wanted to show you, Communion Sunday. That's the opposite, right? So that's something we do all the time, and it could slip through the cracks and you can really forget about it if you're not paying attention, or if you don't do something really simple like this that really draws people into it. And I'll show you what this one looks like. And this is exactly how it is on PosterMyWall. right? You just go in and put in your own information. That's exactly how it is on PosterMyWall. You change it to what you need it to say or do. Those pictures are already there. The video is already there. It's already set up exactly like this. And you can take this and use it to promote your communion service, to remind people that, hey, we are taking communion this Sunday, even if you're at home or whatever. But you want to use video graphics to draw attention to, again, things that are new, that people may not know about, or things that are mundane and regular that you want to draw attention to. So that is 8 ways that I would recommend that you use graphics to supercharge your ministry and your brand. And I hope that 1 or 2 of those are things that you had not considered before, that you can integrate into what you're already doing, and you can just take your ministries to the next level. If you have any questions, make sure you're dropping them in the chats. I'm gonna check now to see what I'm missing, because I haven't been able to see the chat. So hopefully you guys have been talking in there. And I'm gonna stop my screen right here. So Susie, do we have any questions in there? Lisa, do we have any questions in there that I need to check on or answer?
We've got a lot of amens.
Good, yes, amen.
But not a lot of questions. I think people are taking it in, and I'm putting your website out there right now if anybody wants to reach you.
Awesome.
And then I'm going to put in the discount code for anybody who wants to save a little cash.
Right. And this is what I was telling you guys, that you want to make certain that you take advantage of. That it's an amazing opportunity. You definitely want to take advantage of it. You see the promo code there. And thank you so much for sharing my website. If you have any questions after the fact, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here to help. I am a huge fan and supporter of PosterMyWall, as you can tell. I love their products, I love their service, and I love the excellence in which their templates, how good they make me look, to be honest. So I am more than happy to share anything I can to help ministries really utilize that tool. And with that, I'm gonna hand this back over to my PosterMyWall folks. Thank you so much, guys, for having me.
Hey everybody, it's Lisa from PosterMyWall. First, I want to, yay, Camille, you are awesome. I want to thank everybody for being here. Again, the promo code Church30 for 30% off on a new or upgrading your subscription to Premium or Premium Plus on PosterMyWall. Good for either a 3-month subscription or for a year. So that's great. I hope you take advantage of that. Also, we are looking, I saw in the chat that some of you were sharing some of your designs, and we're going to go back and we are going to look at all of them. We are looking for other PosterMyWall users to feature in blog posts and on sessions like this. And we will look at everything you post. Also, if anybody knows, have a session topic in mind, we're looking at some people who are small business marketing experts and thinking about having them on. So let us know. What kind of content do you want? What can we do to make PosterMyWall make you more successful? So I think that's all we have. Susie, anything else out of the chat?
Nope, I think we're good.
All right. Well, thank you all. And thank you again to Camille, and everybody have a great day.